About midway through Season 1, I started asking teachers and fellow students from my high school to voice in the series. Looking back, I think a lot of the people I asked to join in were chosen for a reason. Number 1. Our high school mascot was a Buccaneer. I got the guy who wore the mascot costume to our home games to play Salty.
Yar, matey, there be trouble brewing on the port bow. Look around us, rough seas, mutiny in our midst. It reminds me of a story.
Okay, does he seriously think he's a pirate?
Number 2. James was played by arguably the most fashionable, well-dressed guy at the school.
I'll do no such thing. It's frigid. I'm freezing to the frames. I've got places to go, sights to see, and I don't have time to loaf around with the likes of you.
Number 3. Mighty Mac had a few different actors over the years. In 2012, they were played by an actual pair of brothers I knew that argued a lot.
Ouch!
In fact, the brother cast as Mighty, now feeling high and mighty, gave the brother cast as Mac a lot of crap during the recording session.
You're a revolting sight to behold. That's why I deserve to be polished more. Waste of good time and energy to have you gussied up for anything. How can you say that? We face opposite ends and therefore it is impossible for us to see each other. Come to think of it, I haven't the faintest idea of what you look like at all. That's actually quite profound, but you're still ugly.
Later on, they were played by a pair of roommates in college down the hall from me that also argued a lot.
I suppose one of the halves will just have to face away from the audience.
That means no one will see me. They'll only see Mighty.
Well, I am your better half, after all. I guess I just have one of those faces that really draws in audiences. Nothing personal.
Oh, shut up, you galloping pile of sprockets.
Small grittin' rust bucket.
Moron.
Clumsy klutz.
Moron.
How unoriginal. You already said that.
I said it again for necessary emphasis. It's a worthy point to get across.
Your funnel makes you look like a filthy chimney.
Number 4. Butch was played by one of the biggest postgraduate football players. Since he recorded the part, it's safe to say he didn't opt to shove me into a locker instead. But to be fair, he couldn't even if he wanted to, because we didn't have lockers.
Well, duty calls. See you all later.
Regards, my friend.
Number 5. The original Bertram was played by one of the school's most talented actors. He played Sweeney Todd in one of the musicals, and he was also a talented public speaker.
Quite a dilemma we have on our buffers. A schism, a divide, a separation, a rift between two opposing sides, each a part of a single machine. This is delightful, curious, fascinating.
Bertram, shut up!
Number 6. Carlo, Debris, and Stanley were originally played by my good friend Scully. If he hadn't insisted on doing a Skeletor impression for Carlo, I'm not sure if his character would have had the same trajectory.
Stand aside!
Number 7. Okay, I'm not sure why I made this decision, but Rheneas' actor was one of the chillest lax bros at school that played guitar and was just an all-around guy just being a dude. I'm not sure if this is the most accurate take on Rheneas, but something about the energy felt right.
Duke, that rundown shed is an absolute disgrace.
Said Rheneas.
If anything, it's bound to fall over. It needs to be repaired before you doze in there for all hours.
Number 8. I went to a boarding school, and our school had prefects like in Harry Potter. I was a prefect of a sophomore dorm, and there was one guy I had to keep an eye on that was particularly sassy and sarcastic. Of course, he was our Spitzer.
Don't you sleep with your eyes open?
No, why?
Well, I had tried to talk to you yesterday, but you didn't respond to anything I said.
Oh, that was because I didn't give a heaping hook about whatever it was you were talking about.
Number 9. The voice actor for Murdoch, the Fat Controller, and the actor was one of the theater directors at my school, and he taught English as well.
Silence! Now, with the bickering aside, I must be brief.
And number 10. During Poetry Month at our school, the Thing Controller's voice actor recited the Get Thee to a Nunnery speech from Hamlet. If he hadn't recited this poem before the entire student body, I don't think I would have cast him in EE, or would have had the idea for All the World's a Stage. So I suppose it was meant to be.
Aye, truly. For the power of beauty will sooner transform honesty from what it is to a bawd than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. This was, sometime, a paradox, but now the time gives it proof. I did love you once.
Make out!
And now, a retrospective. I was kind of shy in high school, but during my junior year I really started to come out of my shell more. That included being more open about my love of Thomas. I realize now that being open about my love of trains and Thomas made it easier for me to connect with people. I've read many people's concerns online about sharing their interest in Thomas to people outside the fandom, and I'd agree, especially if you're in middle school or high school. But trust me, the older you get, the less people care. I was much happier when I was true to myself, and it helped me get to know a lot of different people. I actually had moments where friends of mine were disappointed that I never asked them to be in the videos. That surprised me quite a bit. But with all said and done, I'm always grateful to everyone that has ever helped me with my videos, even if I don't see them anymore. When I go back and look at an old project, I remember where we recorded and what was going on at the time, and it just takes me back. I say this all the time, but these videos, especially the older ones, are like a scrapbook for me.